Welcome back to the next section of macroeconomic tutorials. We're talking about how is low-powered fiat money created in an economy. And the short answer is it's created by a stroke of an accountant's pen. How is this low-powered money created? It's created when a bank executive signs a loan agreement and that money is put back, that high-powered money is put back into the vault of the bank. And if we did that process over and over and over again, we can take the original high-powered money, multiply it times our money multiplier, which is 1 divided by the required reserves, and that money multiplier times our high-powered deposits can tell us we can inflate the money supply by 5 times. We could have 5 times more money in the economy. All we have to do is have a bank that's fully loaned up. They've loaned out all they can possibly loan at a 20% required reserves. Now let's change the story. Is 20% a reasonable number for modern banks to hold in reserve? The answer is no, not really. Well, is it more or is it less? A lot less. Let's just cut it in half and let's go from 20% reserves to 10% reserves, and it's a nice round number, so we should be able to do the math fairly quickly. Does anybody have a calculator to help us out? One of those things that we can do this very quickly. Okay, here we go. If we have not 20 but 10% here, which means this is not going to be 80, this is going to be, class, 90%. So we got high-powered money of 10,000 silver dollars, which means we're going to hold out 1,000, right? Which means we've got now 9,000 to loan out. We're successful. We find somebody to borrow the money. We loan the money to them. They decide to keep all the cash in the vault. And so that's $9,000 here. We keep out 10%, which is 900. Is that right? Oh, and somebody get a calculator going, because I'm going to run into. I'm going to need a calculator. I can see it coming. I'm going to need a calculator. Who's going to be my calculator person so we can do this quickly? Okay. 10% times 9,000, I can do that. That's 900. Okay, now that gives us an excess reserves of 8,100. Keep the numbers flowing, fans. 8,100. Okay, we find somebody to loan that money to. Now we got $8,100 in deposit, and we're going to hold out 10%, which is $810, which is going to give us excess reserves of $72.90. We find somebody to loan that money. That's $72.92. We hold out 10%, which is $729. We get another number, and we put it over here. We hold out some. We get another number. Now, class, you tell me. At a 10% required reserves, this $10,000 can grow to what number? Come on, do the math. Math. Go ahead. Come on, get a piece of paper out. Do the math. The money multiplier is 1 over the required reserves. What's the money multiplier? 10. 1 over 0.1 gives us, dime goes into a dollar 10 times. So this $10,000 in Dodge City is going to grow to how much again? It's going to grow to $100,000 of purchasing power running around in Dodge City. And if we saw much of an economic boom when it went from 10 to 50, do you think we're going to see much of a difference if the money supply in Dodge City grows from $10,000 all the way up to $100,000 running around in Dodge City? Boom! Talk about economic activity. Not fun. I don't know what we're doing around here, but man, we got an economy like nobody has an economy. Nobody's getting wealthy around here like we are. Now, low-powered money is a little bit different than high-powered money. Low-powered money is created when a bank makes a loan. But if that person that you loaned the money to is immoral and takes it and runs and never comes back, or if they happen to die, and can't pay it back, what's the value of that loan? It goes from an asset of, yeah, he owes me $10,000 plus interest, but he's dead. And now what's the value of this IOU? It went to zero. Now, something else could happen. What if he doesn't die, he doesn't go bankrupt, he pays off that loan with interest? This guy pays off his loan, and we don't replace it. And this guy pays off his loan, and I don't know, we're making plenty of money off this other stuff, so we don't, just let things go. And this guy pays off his loan, his loan, his loan, his loan, his loan, his loan. The $100,000 in our Dodge City is going to do the opposite of what it did when we made the loan. When we made the loan, it increases the money supply. When the loan is paid off, the money supply goes down all the way down to the original high-powered money that we began with. The money supply will shrink all the way back from $100,000 all the way back to its $10,000. If the banking system allows those loans to be paid off and they do not replace them with new loans. Oh, well, if we get a big boom when we go from 10,000 to 100, guess what big thing we get when it goes from $100,000 running around in the economy all the way down to 10? Bust. Busted. Rather than boomed, we is now busted. One of the things that people in the Great Depression said, and they could, for the life of them, they could not understand it. They come through the roaring 20s. They have the stock market crash at 29. The whole economy starts going south. Unemployment starts going through the roof. And the most commonly asked phrase among people as they got together at social events is, where'd all the money go? We used to have money. Now it doesn't seem like anybody has any money. I mean, I know some people went bankrupt. A lot of people went bankrupt. But we used to have a lot of money in our economy. Now we don't have hardly any money in the economy. How does that work? Now you know. They didn't. They didn't know. They couldn't figure it out. It was because all of this money, I have to use my words guardedly here, all of this low-powered money was an illusion of wealth. It was not true wealth. It was the illusion of wealth. And if I see an illusion and I think it's real, am I going to act on it since I think it's real? Of course I am. Now, we could say, well, it busted because of a lack of confidence, a lack of faith. That's true. But also, could it bust? Well, it could bust for a lot of reasons. But one reason is that the banks weren't aggressive to keep this loan balloon expanded, because when the volume of loanable funds starts to shrink, it could shrink because they all get Ebola or something. We can't pay it back. It could shrink because bankers are lazy and they don't keep getting more loans and they don't keep it expanded like that. Or it could shrink because people become afraid for whatever reason. Good reason, bad reason, no reason. All of a sudden we think Russia is going to turn into the Soviet Union again. And we think there's going to be nuclear war again. Or a new Cold War. Or a new epidemic or something. And, you know, the lights might go out. And if we don't have electricity, then my cell phone don't work and computer doesn't work. And the only money I have is the physical money I have in my pocket. And I won't be able to buy anything unless I have physical money. And you know what I think I'm going to do? I think I'm going to go get my physical money. Because I don't need any battery for a dollar bill. It still works. I don't need a battery for a $100 bill. I think I want to go get all my physical money. And when people go after their physical money, What's backing up this? Nothing. Nothing. And now nobody can get their money out of the bank. If you got $1 million in the bank, but you're not allowed to get it out, how wealthy are you? Not very. You might be a millionaire on paper, but unless you can get it out and spend it, you don't have $1 million. So all of a sudden, if people have all this stuff that they have on their back, but if they can't get it out because it's not there to get out, well, then people lose faith in the banking system, and the whole thing begins to collapse all the way back to this. And the collapse is not fun. The expansion's fun, the growing economy is fun, but the collapse is not fun. All of a sudden, the illusion is gone, and we have to face a stark, uncomfortable reality that the wealth that we thought we had was an illusion. It's not really there. And that is not a comfortable situation to be in. Let me state it a different way. By the way, our reserve ratio is much less than 10%, which means this number is a whole lot bigger than multiplied by 10. But if we said that in this country we had a banking system that had a 10% required reserve, how much money in our economy would be pure illusion? If we had, pardon? Did you hear what he said? 90% of the wealth, the money that we think we have, isn't there. It really isn't there. As long as the banking system's up, remember this musical chairs thing? As long as everybody believes, as long as everybody keeps calm, don't panic, just keep everything going, well, then it continues to work. But if reality ever sets in and people have to deal with the real world and all the illusions begin to disappear and all of a sudden you see reality, gosh, oops, 90% of the wealth that I thought we had in this economy is gone when people no longer decide that they're going to believe that it is there. In your text, there's a phrase. There's a phrase. See if I can find it. Yes, the phrase is, when we're talking about what's backing our monetary system and its faith, it says, the illusion upon which banks depend. The illusion upon which banks depend. What is that illusion? That illusion starts right here with this first loan. And that illusion is that the people who deposited the money and the people that borrowed the money both have immediate access to the same dollar. What's the illusion? The illusion is that fractional reserve banking allows the depositor to believe that he has immediate, 100% total access to his own money, and allows the borrower to believe that they have immediate, total, 100% access to the money they borrowed and are paying interest on, and they both believe they have total 100% control access to the same dollar. That is an illusion. And when we take that illusion and we play it one time, we play it again, we play it again, we play it again, we play it again, we create a bubble economy. A bubble economy. Inflate it up, inflate it up, inflate it up, but it has a natural tendency to collapse. Low-powered money, left to itself, the loans get paid off, and loans get paid off, the bubble begins to shrink. Because if they can't get paid off, they're dead, and it shrinks real fast. All low-powered money is like a balloon. Its natural state is to collapse to its original form. Low-powered money is like stretching a rubber band. You can stretch it, but its natural tendency, you leave it alone, and it has a natural tendency to collapse. Our money supply, if we just stopped intervening with it and just leave it alone, has a natural tendency to collapse. When people are afraid of the pending immediate economic future, when they're afraid of possibly losing their job, when they're afraid that maybe their bank account won't have in it what they need, do they borrow more money or do they do the opposite of paying off their loans? I need to pay off this mortgage. I want to get rid of my debt. When everybody has the get out of debt religion, think about that. If for whatever reason, everybody has this religious thing that we're going to get out of debt. I'm going to pay off my loan, pay off my car loan, pay off every loan. Every loan I got, I'm just going to pay off, and I'm not going to take out new loans. I'm going to pay them all off. What would happen to our money supply, class? It would collapse. 90% of it would just kind of disappear. I know. Should I tell the economic story this way? Or should I just... I think if you just read it in the textbook, it would be so much, okay, is that going to be on the test? Is this going to be on the test? But hopefully I told it in a way that is now more meaningful to you as a person, that you get a better feel for what's going on. And we're going to pick up with this topic here and go into a little bit about asset management and liability management, as we talked about in the banks before, and go into the next chapter.